Live from Linguini's base of operations. Today we will be diving into productivity, what it's like to having your electronics in black and white, the future of this channel, and a quote from the alphabet, so you're not going to want to miss out. See you on the flip side.
You are now listening to Linguini's Dough.
Alright, now it's time to get into the dough. I'm going to be going into black and white for the month of April, and April's already almost over because I've been procrastinating, and that's okay. But I decided to do it on two of my devices, my laptop and my Samsung A50, which is a phone, if you don't know, which I think you did know. I'm doing this because I'm going to be doing this because I want to get off my devices more to reduce the urge to use them. Some examples. Well, let's start out with what got me to do it. I saw a Reddit post about how it helps someone's phone addiction. I'll leave a link in the description. I had just gotten inspired by it. This post is actually relatively old now, but I just kept it in my mind and finally decided to do it. So what my goal is that I'm going to get a text on Instagram, and then the black and white will likely prevent me from scrolling through my feed and just reply to the text and turn off my phone. Because I'll tell you, it makes your screen super bland and boring, and you seriously don't want to use it. After doing this for now 22 days, that's too long. But yeah, I've been doing it for 22 days. It makes me appreciate everything around me more. When I stop looking at my screen, I do notice the colors more. Not as much as when I first started, though. I'm going to say that because when I first started this, you seriously did look at your wall and be like, that orange, it looks so orange and vivid. However, when I do go look outside, like my window, to me that still looks super vivid and amazing, and I love it. For the fact I'm not looking at black and white. Yeah, and I guess my end goal of doing this little test is to use my device less. Alright, so I'm recording this a little bit later than I should have, but some things I've noticed for when I first started this, probably within the first 10 days. Programs that you need color for are a lot harder to do, but still possible. I actually have made quite a few videos and photos over this past month. And it's so much harder making them, especially for the photos, on knowing what colors to do. Because you're just like, oh. I did a photo for my friend, and he literally asked for color. So I just took a picture of the color blue with my camera and used the color selection tool to select it. And yeah, I ended up getting blue somehow. I eventually looked at the image on my brother's iPhone, which, yeah. I haven't analyzed the photo too much, so it looked a lot better in color. I can say that. The black and white, I noticed this in the first third of the month again. Let's keep that in mind. But what I said is it makes it a lot harder to want to start using my device. Which, it's not untrue now that I'm 22 days in, but it's definitely not true. It's if you're in the mood to deal with the black and white. Which usually I am. I like being on my computer. And to be honest, gaming is actually relatively similar. Once you get into the zone of whatever game you're playing, you are in the zone of the game you're playing. You're not outside of it. You're not, I don't know how to explain it. You will just play. I finished beating Doom 2016 in black and white. And to me, it was very fun. Obviously, now I daydream about what it looked like in color because it was more enjoyable when it was in color. As I got to rip and tear better, but it is what it is. I just want to mention why I will not be turning it on my Switch. I don't use my Switch a crazy amount of time, so I don't need to reduce time on that, especially with COVID. I haven't been out and about, so I seriously haven't been using my Switch as much as I would like to. Also, a couple games that I did play ended up needing color, so I need to stop saying so. And I just felt like it wasn't necessary. I guess there wasn't really a whole lot of reason to that. Yeah, okay, so this was written like 10 days into April, so now we're like 22 days in. And I would like to talk further on my experience. So I went through the outline, now we're going to talk further on my experience of the black and white. There are times where it will make you seriously not want to play video games when you have nothing to do. I finish my homework, don't have work, and then I could play Fortnite. I know, that's what I play. But yeah, I could play it, and then I don't because sometimes, like today, I just didn't feel like playing it because of the black and white. Who knows if I would have played it if I had color? I don't really know. Yeah, honestly, I miss color so much. Just looking at any feed, I'm just like, oh my gosh, color, I would like that. There have been 2 instances where I did break the color rule. One of them was I was watching a movie with my sister. So yeah, I just turned off the color, which it looked phenomenal. I watched Sonic and I saw the explosion and it was just, it was so good in color. Oh, what was the other time? Oh, for physics, yeah, homework assignment. Kind of had to. I watch a guy who does, I think his name's Joseph. I know his first name's Joseph Giovannu, something along the lines of that. He streams New York 24/7. He does Instagram stories of New York's sunrise and sunset, and I watch him, and I cannot tell you how much. When May 1st hits, and I go watch his stream, his sunset, because that's what I'm on. When I watch his sunset stream, and it's gonna be in color, I'll see New York in all its colors. It's going to be beautiful. I don't know. It's less of how the black and white is actually affecting me, because personally, it hasn't made me all that much more productive. In fact, a lot of my productivity relates to the computer, so instead, it hasn't done anything. Just a neutral response, which is okay. This is why I tried it to see if I'd like it. The main thing is I just miss color on screens. Whenever I see color on another screen, I immediately notice it and go, "Whoa, that is super cool." Also, I think after I finish this and whatnot, I'm gonna probably watch a movie that's actually black and white instead of watching a movie that's in color, but I'm watching it in black. Yeah. However, that makes sense. I'll just be watching a normal black and white movie at the end of this, see if I can enjoy it a little bit more, because for some reason, I don't know, I just never got into watching black and white movies. Another thing is I did actually watch quite a few movies this month that are normally color movies, but also I put them to black and white. Honestly, if it's a good movie, you just fall into watching it. I watched Where the Wild Things Are twice. I don't know if it was this month that I watched Isle of Dogs, so maybe on that. I watched Into the Spider-Verse. Sonic I watched in color, so that doesn't count. Yeah. Essentially, you just get into the zone in it, and honestly, you're just painting what you think what colors are. I swear sometimes I see color even though it's in black and white. Because sometimes you're just like, oh, I know what color this is. This is this color. There's also like tiny little things that just need color but don't. Like, because I've been playing Fortnite and whatnot. Markers, I can't really see those all that well. Yeah. Alright, so that's it for this piece of dough. Now to our quote. Wow, that piece of dough was really interesting. Moving on, we're going to mix the dough with the quote. Our quote is... Ah. Yep, you heard me right. The quote for today is a lowercase a. This is the first letter in the English language and used in many other languages, not just English. So that's something that's pretty cool. After going through a couple Wikipedia articles, I can say ah is a very complicated. Essentially, among different cultures, it looks different / harder to write. My dumb brain finds this all very confusing, so I didn't research it as much as I could have. And don't take this small quote as simple. We use ah in a lot of things. Uppercase A is illegal, though. We don't even talk about uppercase A. I'm sorry if your name starts with an uppercase A. I will not pronounce it with the uppercase A. It's always the lowercase a. Because is the way we do it. Uppercase A is what caused about every pandemic this world has ever had. COVID. I'm pretty dumb, so I don't know the rest of the pandemics. I think I have a few in my mind, but I'm not going to risk messing up a pandemic. Plus, I'm trying to respect lowercase a. And unfortunately, this society is not smart enough to just get rid of uppercases A altogether. Anyways, yeah, I just thought lowercase a was a pretty good thing to talk about. I think we're going to go move on to our next segment. To Yonder Yeeter, we are now moving on to our final piece of dough. All right, we're on to our next segment. I just wanted to talk about the plans for the future of my podcast, Linguinis Dough. I feel like the direction I want to head is productivity related, as we just heard about in the first segment. I plan to challenge myself with more productive things to improve my productivity. And again, I cannot wait to be done with black and white. I don't think it worked all that well as I hoped it would. And it's just, I do not like looking at my screen, but I also love using my devices. So, yeah. I'll probably also try researching the effects of trying something productive, I guess by doing it myself, because I don't know what the effects of doing this black and white thing when I switch back to color. I don't know how it's going to affect me, but I'm sure it will have effects on how I used my stuff previously and didn't. And this is my first one, so it's not going to be as good as maybe if I knew how productive I was this month versus this month. But I feel like I'll hopefully notice. I know in the first week I'll probably use my device more just because of the color, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll most likely try my productivity ideas in monthly periods. And I'm thinking making this podcast, honestly, a once a month thing because I've not been able to do it. I'm making an excuse, but I don't really care. But I have not been uploading every 2 weeks, so I feel like it might be more helpful if I go for once a month. And if this is going to be about productivity, I guess I should mention my definition of productivity, which is a mix of what you can achieve and the time period you achieve it. We're playing devil's advocate here. It is how much you don't get done, and productivity is the opposite. I also plan on working more in Battle for Brickma soonish, which will help give me something to talk about. But keyword soonish, it's going to be a little while. I'm working on that very slow. I don't want to get burnt out on that project again. I'm still trying to get voice actors. Just not major roles, but I still have spots where I could fill voice actors. And one thing I want to keep true, because even though I am putting a theme to this, there's a reason I named this podcast Linguinis Dough, aside from linguini and dough relating to each other. I choose dough because it can be a base ingredient for a lot of foods, or in this podcast example, a lot of topics. This podcast is just supposed to be me talking about whatever I feel like I wanted to talk about. So, I'm not always going to talk about productivity. I may not always do a challenge. And that is okay. That will keep true to my Linguinis Dough. Hello? All right, so that's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you on the next one. If you have any ideas for a podcast, just comment them down. I would love to hear them, and I might talk about them. I would love some guests on this show, so if you want to be a guest, just let me know, and we'll figure out a time. And this Linguinis, though, is not on other podcasting platforms because I currently do not have the money to put it on to another platform or an RSS feed, I believe it's called. I have researched it, though. What is Linguinis, though? This is where I talk about stuff I care about or just think about, explore new topics, and really just trying out podcasting. I'll make 10 episodes, end a season, take a small break from podcasting, start on season 2, and hopefully that will be better. Small note about this, I'm thinking about putting a general topic of productivity from here on out, where I'll try different productive stuff, I guess. I think I would like talking about it, and I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. And the songs to credit are Slug Love 87, Go On Going, Charanagoes, Digital Memories, and Witness, all from the YouTube library. Have a great one. This has been a short episode of Linguinis Dough.